Fresh out of jail, fixed to pick up the kids. It's been almost 3 months. Here we go. Come on, Riggsy boy. There they are. Parker in London. Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Stop licking me.
There, get down, baby. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm going.
Oh my gosh, look at y'all's hair. Handy. Hey, bud. Oh, how are you? Hey, buddy.
Have you lost pounds or lost pounds?
Actually, I've gained pounds up here.
Oh.
I got up to about 1,200 dips a day.
Wait,
I did an average of, I think, about 25,000 laps I walked while I was in jail. So,
holy shit, man.
I was a little pale. I looked like the color of your shirt when I got out, but I'm good now. I'm just so glad to see you. Okay. It's gonna be all right, kids. I promise. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go get set up.
Are you on your riding lake?
Oh yeah, same old place.
All right. Hello. How is everybody? I think watching that intro every day for the last 3 or 4 days does my heart very, very good, does my soul good. Those were the best hugs I ever got. Before I get started, I have to do the normal thing since I am a YouTuber. Please, okay, this is the part where I gotta beg for likes and subscribes like every other YouTuber. It drives me nuts, but you know, it is what it is. So anyways, I'm going to get rid of that. How is everybody? Oops, I'm going to get over to here. Hello, Dannon and Dorian and Colin and Nicholas. How is everyone doing? Real quick, I guess I could call this a disclaimer. I'm in Wyoming at the moment, and there's a big snowstorm that I woke up to 6 inches this morning, but it's not real cold. I mean, it's cold, but it's not freezing cold. So it sticks, but it kind of melts. And then I took a little nap this afternoon, and there's more. And I had to go wipe off my Starlink, which I've only had for about a week. And I don't know if it's going to pile on. So far, knock on wood, I've not had any problems. But it's coming down like pretty hard. And I don't know if Starlink is good for 3 inches of snow or a foot of snow or I have no idea what to expect, but so far it's good. So if I lose y'all, just know that it's not my fault. All right. I told you. Oh, by the way, also that was about the third consecutive podcast yesterday that did not get demonetized. So yay. I'm so happy. Had to figure out which intros did and did not have licensable music, and so I've stuck with the intro that you have there. And also, I told all of you that I've been going on and on about health and wellness and basically staying on my path. And it's what I've encouraged my kids, particularly since I've been sober, to stay on their path. Hence today's topic of discussion, the 7 deadly sins. And I told you I was going to ask y'all. I'm going to ask you, have you today got your heart rate up for at least 15 minutes by show of hands in the comments section? The internet dad is going to get on the little cheer-ins. I'm just kidding. Let me know. Did you get your heart rate up today, or do you just enjoy watching some guy on the internet talk about it and makes you feel good, and then you don't do anything about it? All right, Colin got his heart rate up. Who else? Dannon, you promised to be in the comment section just yesterday. All right, today's topic is the 7 deadly sins. Now, I am not going to be preaching at anybody from a religious point of view. I mean, arguably, I guess I kind of get on here. That's all I do is preach, but it's not about religion. Okay, good. Exactly 17 minutes on the stationary bike. Good. Nicholas hit the rowing machine for 45 minutes. Good. Anybody do any swimming or any hiking or any heavy weight training? Let's see, what's up? This is the, hang on, I got to get this bigger. I can't see this. This is So God Made a Far. Okay, changed my name and used the rowing machine today for 30 minutes. Good. The world is just a tiny bit healthier from the people who frequently watch me rant and rave about how good I feel because I'm old and I'm jacked, and I like it. It's fun, and I want the world to have more of us, more people that are fit, because I have a theory that if you're physically fit, and I mean really fit, not fake fit, I don't even know if I can say any kind of pharmaceutical, but there's this fad going around where you inject yourself with these things. It starts with an O, and it makes you look healthy, but it's not. I mean real healthy. People that stick to the basics. The basics, like the 15 basic foods that I've gone over in about 3 podcasts ago, and basics of just getting your heart rate up. But anyways, part of being healthy, in my opinion, is spirituality. And again, that's what I was saying. I'm not here to preach into anybody on a religious text. I don't like organized religion. I do consider myself a Christian, but I'm certainly not an evangelical. I think part of the problem with religions, that's just one of many, is that these mega churches have figured out how to use Bible verses and turn it into world-class profit-making centers. And in my humble opinion, people who profit off the souls and the gullibility of people are probably demons. And I'm not saying that all preachers are bad. I'm not saying that at all. But I just don't buy into the TV preachers and the people that just go on and on and on about preaching about the religion, because the 3 major religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, they're all weirdly tied together, like going way, way back. And then you've got the Hindus, and then there's like 1,000 other religions. And I'm not shitting on anybody's religion. You do you, boo-boo. It doesn't bother me. I'm quite content with who I am and what I've done. Although that kind of leads into the 7 deadly sins that I want to talk about, because I do have some regrets. And that's basically the topic for the day, is going over the 7 deadly sins. I've got a little infographic here, and I don't know if it's late. Depending on where you're at, it's probably dark outside. I know light bugs people. I tried to find an infographic that wasn't bright, so just giving you a warning, it might get a little bright. I'm not trying to. I don't even know if y'all can see that or read it. Basically, I just wanted to get it so I can read them out because I know them all, but I just want to have kind of a reference. Let me try maybe that. Maybe that's not quite so annoying, the bright light. So I'm going to switch over here, and I'm not going to go into. I'm not an expert on the 7 deadly sins, not by a long shot, but I've just noticed since I've gotten sober, this August will be 5 years for me. I've developed this kind of like a guide that I go by. I just call it my path, and I just can't help but notice if I stay on my path, I tend to do better. And if I get off my path, I tend to do worse. I've been objectively looking at and criticizing myself and my own choices throughout my entire adult life and trying to figure out where I got off of my path. And I couldn't help but notice, I've heard of the 7 deadly sins my whole life. Until recently, I couldn't even really name them all. I just, I knew the big ones, pride and gluttony and lust. But the more I stay on my path, the more I realize the 7 deadly sins are the categories of anything I've done or anybody that I know has done. If they engage in these 7 deadly sins, it gets people off the path. Now, in the short run, a lot of people do these things, and in the short run, lots of times you get lots and lots and lots of money, or whatever it is you are lusting after or wanting. Greed, that's one of them. And another thing I've noticed about the 7 deadly sins, now think about what that means. Deadly. They're so bad that they're deadly, but I got to know, thinking about this, not one of these 7 deadly sins is illegal. Now, I'm from America, the United States, obviously. Maybe in other certain countries that I'm not familiar with and I'm not claiming to be familiar with, there are. Maybe some of these are. I have no idea. But in this country, none of these sins are deadly. However, it's the sin itself in excess that almost always leads to things that are illegal, such as murder, such as rape, such as assault, possibly even arguably libel or slander laws. So I'm just going to read through these a bit. If I can find where is it? Nope. All right. I don't know what these numbers mean. I don't think there's any particular order. Most lists that I've read and people that videos I've watched and papers that I've read always seem to list pride as the original, and they say it's the biggest, and it's usually the one that leads to so many of the others. But for some reason, they've got pride listed as number 5 on here, and I have no idea. But it's listed as number 1 here as envy, so I'll just go with that. Envy. Envy, Latin invidia, which is kind of strange because that's a really large multi-trillion-dollar stock on the stock exchange that has to do with AI or artificial intelligence. I thought that was interesting. Envy is characterized by an insatiable desire. Envy is similar to jealousy in that they both feel discontent towards someone's traits, status, abilities, or rewards. Number 2 is wrath. In Latin is known as ira. Also known as rage, may be described as inordinate and uncontrolled feelings of hatred and anger. So envy, you can want people's stuff all you want. It's a deadly sin, but it's not illegal. Wrath, you can get crazy and mad and angry. It's like super angry where your eyeballs about to pop you out of your head. That's not illegal. The illegal part is when you do something about it. You stab somebody, you choke somebody, you shoot somebody. Envy. You want their things, you want their things, you want their things, though it's deadly, but it's not illegal until you take it too far and you actually steal from them, whether it's their money or other property or their innocence. All right, number 3 is listed here as greed. Greed as seen by the church. Again, they call this from Dante's Inferno. I've heard of that. I didn't even know what it was. Apparently it's a melodrama written back in like the, I don't know, 5th century or something. I'm not familiar with it, but anyways, greed is applied to a very excessive or rapacious desire in pursuit of material possessions. Greed is a sin against God, just as all mortal sins, inasmuch as man condemns things eternal for the sake of temporal things. So, again, you can go for, like excessive money, but it's not illegal until you start, price gouging. If that, arguably, that's not even a thing, depending on which economist you talk to. But if you start doing unfair practices, a lot of people think usury is an unfair practice, and it's greed, which is a sin. But until you start actually stealing people's stuff, again, greed itself, just wanting other people's shit isn't necessarily illegal. All right, sloth. Latin, so cordia. Sloth can entail different vices. With sloth is sometimes defined as physical laziness, spiritual laziness. It is emphasized. Failing to develop spiritually is key to becoming guilty of sloth. According to this, in the Christian faith, sloth rejects grace and God. So the act of just sitting on your butt like I am right now, in and of itself is not illegal, but I don't know how that would be illegal. But anyway, moving on to pride, the big one. Here's the base, the one that most references I found said is the big one. And as I read this, think about the person, the most prominent person you can think of in the whole wide world. And I bet you we all come to the same, we come to the same person. Not going to get into politics, but let me read this first. Pride. In almost every list, pride is considered the original and most serious of the 7 deadly sins. That is actually shocking to me. If it was up to me, I'd go with lust, personally. But according to the experts, people that know a lot more than I do, it's pride. It's the source of all others. It is identified as believing that one is essentially better than others, failing to acknowledge the accomplishments of others, and excessive admiration of the personal self. So to me, first person I thought it was Donald Trump, and I'm not here to get political because there's some things Trump does that I love and some things he does that I don't love. But I mean, that guy, has he ever even once admitted he was wrong about anything? Maybe he has. I don't know. I haven't seen it. And then gluttony. Okay, we got 2 more. Gluttony and then lust. So gluttony, derived from the Latin glutine, or that's an R, glutier, meaning to gulp down or swallow. No perverted jokes. I'm terrible. Gluttony, Latin gula, is the overindulgence and overconsumption of anything to the point of waste. In Christianity, it is considered a sin if the excessive desire for food causes it to be withheld from the needy. Interesting. And the last one, the one that I think should be number one, probably the number one. Maybe it goes in cycles. Every 100 years it changes. But if you ask me, the one right now is lust, is the one that is probably the biggest that's plaguing at least the West, and in particular the United States. And lust or lechery, carnal luxuria, that's interesting. Luxurious comes from lust. Is an intense desire. It is usually thought of as excessive sexual want. However, the word was originally a general term for desire. Therefore, lust could involve the intense desire of money, food, fame, or power as well. So I guess they all kind of intertwine, because you could also say that lust is basically greed. But let me get back over here to the stream. For me, the lust is the one primarily where what got me off of my path. Hang on, let me get this off of here. There. I don't know if y'all want to see me, if y'all want to see the chart, but lust, in my opinion, is what got me off of my path. And I have paid dearly for it. And I've learned to acknowledge it. So I ask you what, and I don't want anybody to tell me what applies to you, but you can lie to the world, but you can't really lie to yourself. And if you do, maybe you're a psychopath. I don't know. But back in the day, when I was a very, very, very young man, I succumbed to the lust of a woman, and I decided to make 4 children with her. And I've keep talking here and to my cheerings about staying on my path. Well, in my opinion, looking back, lust was one of the 7 deadly sins for me personally that got me off of my path. And the way I came about that is when I first met my kid's mother, I just fell head over heels in love with that woman. I was very, very young, very naive, and very focused on one thing and one thing only. The lips, the boobs, the hair, the eyes, the makeup, the smell, and all the things that make up what man after man after man over centuries has gotten ruined that women just naturally possess. They possess this beauty. And the reason I see it this way is I didn't see the other red flags. I didn't see things that I should have noticed that would have, and if I had focused on the other things, I would have been able to stay on my path. But I didn't. And looking back, it's hard to say I regret it, because on one hand, I do regret it because it's just been hell. My entire adult life has just been hell. Good, but on the other hand, I've got 4 children that I love absolutely to the moon and back. And but I've realized I can't unring that bell. It's done. I can't unmake my kids. It's done. I love my kids. I wouldn't trade them for anything. Obviously, I went to jail for them, hence the intro of this video. I'd only been out of jail just a few days. That was the only time I'd ever missed visitation with my kids ever, was the 60 days I was in jail. And that video at the opening of this podcast is that's when we first met. We hadn't seen each other in like 3 months. But anyways, since I can't unring that bell, the best I know to do is to educate my own cheerings and anyone on this podcast who cares to listen to me. If you haven't, or if you're young and you haven't already had children and maybe you want a family someday, there's nothing wrong with starting a family. There's nothing wrong with falling in love. There's nothing wrong with a woman making herself beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with a man falling in love with a beautiful woman. Those are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. My point is, from the man's point of view, because that's the only way I can speak. I can't speak from a woman's point of view simply because, ding, 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 I'm not a woman. Imagine that. I would recommend men, if you've got to stay on your path, because if you don't, you will wind up in a life, in my opinion, far more painful than if you did stay on your path. There's nothing wrong with finding a beautiful woman and spending time with her, marrying her, fall in love with her, having cheerings with her. But make sure you don't see just the boobs, just the lips, just the smell, just the hair, just the way she smiles in the first few months every time she sees you. Make sure you are reserved in who you are, and I suggest, be skeptical. And sometimes skepticism harms good people because, like, just for me, for example, nice people come up to me all the time now that I'm older, and I'm just real standoffish. I'm like, what do you want? Because I've found over and over and over, evil people almost never present themselves initially as evil. They present themselves with big smiles. And how are you doing? Like salesmen. And what do all salesmen want? They want money. They want to sell you something. And I'm not shitting on salespeople. I understand that's how a lot of people make a living. There's nothing wrong with sales. Nothing wrong with that's your priority. But even every good salesman I've ever known will tell you there's plenty of sales crooks. They'll lie to you and they'll smile. Everything's great. And I just have to be a skeptic at first. But I got a little off topic there. My point with the lust is it's okay to fall in love with a woman, and for a woman to be beautiful and doll herself up, it's fine. But make sure that what she is presenting is what is real. Because almost never do we present our worst side. Like the old saying goes, you only get one chance to make a first impression. So most people, if they want something, if she wants that man or he wants that woman, we always put our best foot forward. We show our best selves, which again is fine, but make sure you get to know that person, because if all you're focused on is the boobs and she's an evil witch, it can destroy you. That is what I call, or just a small example of getting off your path. And there's lots of things that get men off their paths. Women are just one of them. Alcohol. That's another one. Let me add this back. Which one? Oh, I keep mixing those up. Gluttony. Gluttony, which led to sloth. Gluttony is the overindulgence and overconsumption of anything to the point of waste. I was over-consuming alcohol after we divorced, and she revealed who she was to me. And I got really, really depressed, especially when Parker was taken from me. I went down a really, really, really dark. I was really, really depressed. And if you want to see that, many of you have, it's called Parker versus the Band. That was the day that I lost all hope in humanity. I lost my religion. I was just bitter and angry. And my dumb ass decided to deal with my problems, with that empty hole in my heart, by excessive alcohol. That's gluttony. I was poisoning myself every single day for 7 years. And that I do regret. I regret it because, again, it got me off my path. My path, I don't know exactly what my path is, but I want to be the best person I can be. I want to be able to protect my children to the best of my ability. I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor and not have it stolen by crooks, whether they're in government or in private. I want to excel. I want to help people if possible. But the alcohol got me off of my path after I'd already gotten off my path by falling in love and making cheers with a woman that I was not compatible with. And that's what alcohol does. First of all, it's expensive. Even the cheap shit, if you're drinking every day, it's expensive. And in times like these, most people or a lot of people are struggling. I'm struggling. If you're spending money on that shit that's not making you feel better, it's not increasing your health, then the money that you're spending on that is not going to, your retirement or some investment or, college fund for your kids. And on top of that, it's poisoning you. Because in my humble opinion, and YouTube, it's just my opinion. I have to say that for the algorithm purpose. It's just my opinion. Alcohol is poisonous. There's no such thing as healthy alcohol. And it led me down a bad path. I'd get drunk and I got fat, and the old gut was just out to here. I got a picture of it. Here, let's see, remove. And uh-oh. I think I lost y'all for about 5 seconds. I always forget it does that. There. Don't be lusting after me. On the left there, I was 1 year sober. So that was about 3.5 years ago. I was 221 pounds. That is actually it's a screenshot of a video that you can find that is on this channel. It was posted, I guess that'd be August 21st of 21. As you can see, look at these itty bitty pencil arms. Look at his big old fat belly. I mean, I was in my 4th trimester. But that's what the gluttony did, drinking too much. Again, I was a year sober on this, but I didn't understand nutrition. I didn't understand the value of working out. And then Blaney Boo moved to, he got aggravated at his mother, and so I'd already had custody for years. He was already grown. He's 18. But he decided to join me, and he rode his unhappy ass all the way from Texas to Florida on a bus and lived with me in that tiny, tiny little sailboat. And I knew that wasn't going to last long. So long story short, we got to shore, started going to the gym. And this right here on your right is me about, I'd say that was 2 years in. So about a year and a half ago, roughly. It's just amazing what getting rid of alcohol, upping your protein, and maintaining a minimum of getting your heart rate up for 15 minutes, preferably 30 to 45 minutes. If you're a competitor, professional sports dude or chick, they get their heart rates up like hours a day. I personally don't think that's necessary, but, obviously I'm not going to get on to anybody that does. So, yeah, I do regret the alcohol. I regret the booze. Here, I've got some more. You want to see some more of me? Stop lusting after me. I don't know why this stupid thing cut my head off. That was about a year and a half ago. I'm a little bit heavier there, probably 11 or 12% body fat. My leanest was right here. I was probably 178-ish there. At the moment, I'm 195. 178, that's a little, for me, that's a little too, I was only about a year and a half into training there. So Anyways, we're 34 minutes in. I've not gotten to any. I want to get that off of there. There. I want to get to comments. So, what's on y'all's mind? Has any of you ever, and I'm not, you don't have to tell me, but succumbed to any of the 7 deadly sins that got you off your path that led you down a dark, dark hole? Because that's just what I did, and I regret it. I wished I hadn't done it. I first met my narcissistic stepmom when I was plane spotting, but that was before I dealt with the BS and led to depression, but never drank or smoked. Well, good. Don't start. I'm glad you didn't. Texas really locks oil, money, and family legal problems. Here, here. Title 4D. They love Title 4D laws because the state of Texas gets reimbursed 66 cents on the dollar by wrecking the family, incentivizing usually women to get divorced in the form of child support. I think lust should be illegal big time. Bad idea. Everybody has lust. Everybody. Every woman, every man. It's just a thought. If you start going down that slippery slope of making thought crimes illegal, punishable by jail, that is a slippery slope that's hard to get out of. It's acting on the lust that is what gets you in trouble. Man, the comment thingy keeps jumping on me. Sloth could become illegal if it turns out into certain types of neglect. True. Yeah, you neglect your kids. If you become a lazy dad or lazy mom and your children are emaciated and underweight, yeah, good point. I was trying to think of an example, but a single person wouldn't have that problem. They can sit on their butt all day, but it'll get you fat and you won't have anything to eat because you don't have any money. Sloth caused by depression got me major off my desired path. I think I briefly touched on that yesterday when we were talking. Oh, yeah. Yeah, by the way, that was an interesting little, well, I don't know if you want to be public about it. That thing you sent me was interesting. Yeah, it was lust for me as well. The last relationship I had was fueled by it, and it destroyed me emotionally, and what ultimately sent me into alcoholism. We've all been there, brother. That's what did me, and that's why I keep harping it to anybody that'll listen to me, any of the young people or that'll get on here and listen to me and they're having problems and they haven't turned alcohol and they're tempted by it. It ain't worth it. I've never met one person that has been down the path of alcohol for a long term saying, you know what, I'm glad I'm a big fat drunk and I've lost everything and I've got pencil arms and a big fat belly and I can't defend myself, much less my own family. Never once have I met one person that's ever said that. Probably being lazy makes you sad. Yeah, I guess you can lose purpose. I just feel like crap if I'm lazy. Some people say I'm lazy now because I don't have a job. I just live off my YouTube channel, but I get up and I move, and my channel doesn't pay very much, but it pays enough for now. Just waiting on my investment. But I did 25 years of hard time in the oil field, doing about roughly 5,000 field jobs in that time. I just don't have anything to show for it. And I blame it on me. Not because what happened to me in the family court was unfair, because it was most certainly unfair. I've never once claimed to have been a perfect husband or a perfect father. Never once have I claimed that, ever in my life. That being said, I just don't think what happened to me as a result was a justified punishment. Losing my children, going to jail for 60 days, losing my house, losing my career, losing my mind, losing everything. But ultimately, you know whose fault it was? Mine. It's my fault. You know why? Because back when I was 19 years old, I got off my path. I succumbed to lust. And it did me in. How many people do you see online or in news stories fully accepts blame for the bullshit that happened to them? Almost never. Now, again, I don't think what happened to me was fair. After I'd already made the bad decision when I was 19 to get with that woman, I don't think it was fair what happened afterwards. Some do, but I don't. I think it's completely unfair. It was over punishment. It's like beating a dog 2 days after he chewed up your sofa. Like, he didn't, he's like, what the hell? I didn't even do anything. In his mind, he didn't do anything, but 2 days ago, chewed up your sofa. Anyway, a lot of bad things happen to good people, and I'm not saying they should happen. There's a father I know in Texas. I don't know him personally. I've talked to him a little bit, but he had it worse than me, named Jeff Younger. He had it way worse than me. I don't even know if I can say what happened. I don't know if I'll get zapped. His son, got. I don't even know if I can say it because I don't know. But anyway, it was bad, and I don't think he deserved that at all. However, he did choose her, and again, I'm certainly not saying that was his fault what happened, because it wasn't. It was obviously his evil ex biatch wife that did that to their son. However, he did choose her, and that is, in my opinion, what happens. And very, very seldom do I ever see anybody ultimately taking responsibility. And it was hard for me. It's hard to realize, to acknowledge that and be honest with myself. Same way with drinking. That was my fault. Sure, lots of bad things happened. Sure, she was mean to me. Sure, she jailed Blaine. Sure, she ripped Parker away from me. Those are all terrible things. Sure, she stole all my money. She stole my humanity. She stole my children, moved them to San Antonio. Sure, she did a lot of bad things that most people, including myself, say, well, the bad things are happening and I don't like it and it hurts so bad. I'm going to deal with it by, that would drive any man to drinking. And I've talked to Parker about this a lot. A lot of people say, I shouldn't have done it, but there's a reason I did it. And like, yeah, there's a reason. We all turn to bad things. Some people have porn addictions. Some have alcohol addictions. Some have cocaine addictions. Some have, name your addiction. Not saying there's not a good reason for it, because when bad shit happens, you get depressed. People want to self-medicate. I've just learned that the best way to self-medicate is to take care of the temple that is your own body. Take care of the body that God gave you. And that's what I've chosen to do. And I feel better about it. I wish I would have had somebody yank me by the arm and say, hey, wake up. What the hell are you doing, boy? Why are you drinking yourself to death? Why you got that big old gut? Why do you got them little bitty pencil arms? You big wuss. Why? I wish somebody would have said that to me. In my early 20s, and it feels weird saying I got sober. Yeah, I imagine most people my age think going out and drinking is the only source of fun or socializing. In a lot of cases, it is. It's certainly the most popular. I wish more young people would get with the program. I do too. Yeah, that's why I so thoroughly object to the, what's the word, there's a word for things being in abundance of, just in our face, like alcohol commercials and alcohol banners promoted on, and parties promoted on all these campuses. It's just everywhere. It's just permeated our entire society, and it's all bullshit. Drink this beer and you'll get this chick. Look how cool we are. As you get older, it's, oh, drink this wine. Don't we look just, I don't know the word. Don't we look just divine drinking this wine? Mommies drinking wine and all the wine memes and wine jokes and the movies about wine, glorifying wine. Wine is bullshit. And that's another reason I don't get into a lot of preaching stuff, is because, well, Jesus turned the water into wine, so wine's okay. That's not what, in my opinion, not what it means. That's justification for being a gluttonous, drunken, fat slob who's poisoning all your organs, mostly your liver and your kidneys, and it's costing you money, and it's making you drunk, and it's making you, when you get drunk, some people say it reveals who you are, and I think it's total bullshit. I think alcohol makes people do things that they wouldn't normally do. Like, usually with men, well, no, I guess it's women too. When a lot of times with alcohol, you start banging women who aren't your wife, or banging men who aren't your husband. It's what happens. And yet it's perfectly legal to, as long as you're 21, to buy alcohol and drink alcohol. And I haven't drank alcohol since November of 24. Well done. It's the longest I've gone without drinking since I was 16. Yeah, at 16, you're not even done growing. We're not even done physically growing till like 21 to 25. And yeah, well, good for you. Well done. Sober since November. Just keep it up. And you're 27. So even in your mid 20s, it was 9 solid years of just poisoning yourself. I bet you feel 1,000 times better. I do. It's bad stuff. Yep. There's nothing glorious about alcohol at all. Everything you see on TV and the movies and the books and commercials is all bullshit. When they're glorifying it, it's all bullshit. Yeah, alcohol turned me into a monster, and I had a lot of apologies to give and relationships to mend when I quit. Accountability is key. Amen. Yep, I lost track of how many drunk posts I'd make. And what's weird now that I'm sober, like really sober, is I've got a lot of friends that I've made through Facebook. A lot of these people I've never even met in real life, but I do consider them friends. And I can just tell. I can tell, well, she's on the bottle again. He's boozing again. There we go. More drunk posts. There's a famous, not I don't know about famous, but there's a line from my favorite TV show in the whole wide world of sports called House. And in season 4, they introduced a lot of new doctors, and one of those doctors is played by I can't even think of her real name in the movie. In the TV show, it's her name is Doctor 13. She was number 13 in one of the episodes, but her name is Dr. Hadley. And her character drives me bonkers because she's gorgeous, but she just displays way too many overconfident male characteristics. And anyway, I still love the character. She plays a really good character, but this one point she says, alcohol doesn't make you do anything. It reveals who you are. And I thought that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Again, great writing. I love the show. I just don't see it I see it the exact opposite that way. There's always temptations in life. We're constantly bombarded with temptations. I'm aware of what lust is. I'm a straight man and I'm a boob man. I love boobs like every straight man I know does. But it's a path that I'm on to actively cut that shit out of my life, because if I spend time looking at porn or women online or women in real life and flirting, I'm not spending time getting guns like this. I'm not spending time watching what I am interested in at the moment, which is the crypto market, which is tied to the overall market. So in first I got into just crypto, and then I started realizing how much crypto is tied into the financial market, the banking system, the central banks, the Wall Street, other currencies, the DXY, and how the dollar is weighted against like 7 other currencies. I didn't know what any of that shit meant, but if I was focused on boobs, whether it's on Instagram or porn in general or in real life, if that's what so many people men will hyper focus on boobs. And if you're hyper focused on boobs, you're getting off your path. And I've not done well this cycle, but we're still in a bull run and I still follow the markets. But I don't know how I got off on that. I was reading Nicholas's comment here. And to apologize. Okay, well, my point is you do things that you wouldn't normally do. And that, whether it's alcohol, which I consider gluttony, or in lust, which is hyper focused on boobs. I said the same thing once. Just be wary and keep that mindset. Hello, Hurricane Girl. Nice to see you again. True, my brother is an alcoholic and has had numerous driving while impaired convictions. He's in his 50s and doesn't have a driver's license due to the number of DWIs he's had. Isn't that weird? All the deaths, I don't know how many deaths in America are caused by alcohol. It's thousands, like thousands of them. And I'm not a prohibitionist. I don't think prohibition works, but there are things that are prohibited and illegal to own, and illicit drugs or whatever. But alcohol is not prohibited anymore, even though there was a 3 or 4 year period in old American history, or I say old, about 100 years ago, where it was. But it didn't do any good. Again, I'm not a prohibitionist. Not that I don't think it should be prohibited, but it just doesn't seem to work. It just seems to increase violence because people will go to any lengths to get it. But why it's promoted so much the way it is, I don't know. I don't get it. It's promoted in movies. It's promoted. It's on. I think it's on TV. I haven't watched TV, so I don't know. I don't watch regular TV with commercials in it, and I do that on purpose. But even in House, my favorite TV show that I still watch just about every night to this very day. I'll watch it as soon as I get off here. I'm going to get some of my popcorn because I've been good and staying in my macros, and I've got about 600 calories left for the day. And I'm going to choose to cheat and eat popcorn and watch House. Even on House, they all drink, or most of them. They go to the bar occasionally, and I don't like it, but it's just that's what it is. It's everywhere. It's basically promoted. And people fall for that shit, and as did I, all the time. And it just leads to problems. Health. There's young people nowadays, like late 20s and 30s, that are dying of alcohol poisoning. And I'm sure they always have, but I seem to be seeing a lot of stories lately of what I call young, obviously 20s and 30s, that is young, dying of alcohol poisoning. I'm juicy, round cheek, but over boobs kind of man. Oh, I'm a juicy, round cheek, but over boobs kind of man. Okay, I see. Well, again, we can't help it. That's just how we're made. And I'm sure women thirst as well, just in different ways, but I'm not a woman, so I don't know what it's like to be a woman. But men, if you're straight, yeah, we're I don't know why God is so cruel. I guess that's how we procreate, to make sure we just don't go extinct. But off topic, but what did you, I'm not talking about that, man. Okay. I eat the same thing, man. I eat the same. 80% of my diet is meat, egg, cheese, protein. Everything else is what I call vitamins, and I'm doing well. Hello, Sharon. Long time no see. The big Aussie says hello to you, Caleb. You're looking well. Well, thank you. I remember you from the olden days. Nicholas Alvarez, at my peak, I was drinking 750 milliliter bottles of vodka a day. Now looking at those bottles makes me want to gag. Not going to lie. Yep. Yeah, just the smell. I mean, I've had to clean a cut with rubbing alcohol. And I know it's a different kind of alcohol. It's still alcohol. The smell just, ugh. Even when I was a drinker, everyone always had this joke about, what is the worst alcohol that just the smell of it makes you want to vomit? And at the time, for me, it was Goldschlager. And it does still make me sick, but just the thought, the smell of vodka or beer or whiskey just makes me vomit. And that's why not to get off topic, but we're getting towards the end of the hour, and I'm probably not going to go too much longer anyways. But that's why, for those of you who are struggling with alcoholism, again, I'm not shitting on AA. I'm glad AA exists. They've done some wonderful things and got a lot of people quit drinking. I simply think that my way's better, and it's not me bragging, which is what I've been accused of, but it's me telling you I've got firsthand experience of quitting in a way that, in my opinion, is infinitely better than the just take it one day at a time type of attitude from AA, the AA teaches. Not an AA expert, but from my point of view, AA basically teaches you go to meetings all the time, get dependent on meetings. You're going to take it one day at a time, meaning you can get through this day, but tomorrow's going to be tempting. You're going to walk down those aisles in the grocery store and you're going to see all those booze, and you just have to say one day at a time. Again, if that works for you, great. But I'm telling you, I've got a better way. And if you want to try my way of quitting alcohol and remaining permanently sober, we're to the point I say that I'm no longer an alcoholic. because there's a thing that developed. And it's not apparently printed in any AA stuff, but the attendees just kind of started saying it, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. I think it's bullshit. I think it's straight up pure bullshit. I don't agree with it because, in my opinion, I am not an alcoholic. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. I'm not going to buy into that. Just take it one day at a time, because that leads to every day being a struggle to say no. Every day being a struggle to say no. Every day just punishment. Oh, I want to drink. I want to drink. I want to drink. But I'm 3 years sober. I'm 10 years sober. But, oh, see, alcohol never gets. Oh, I got to say it one day at a time. I got to go to a meeting. F that. I'm trying to watch my language. There is a better way, and I don't think I seriously doubt I'm the only person that has ever come up with this, but I did come up it by myself without anybody else. I'd never known anybody else that did it my way. But again, I'm not saying I'm the god of this, that I created this. I'm not. I'm sure there's plenty of other intelligent people who just figured out, fuck that. Screw that shit. When you make up your mind and you decide to flick the switch and turn it off and tell yourself that all alcohol is poison to all humans all the time, I'm here to tell you I'm nothing special, but if I can do it, you can do it. You tell yourself it's poison, and at that point, it becomes extremely easy to not just, quitting is hard. The first week for me sucked. The night sweats, the not being able to sleep, the shakes, the first week sucks. Oh my God, it is hard. Day 3, you're like, oh my God, is this ever going to end? But I'm telling you, if you can suck it up for that first week, after that, you make up your mind that F alcohol, it's poisonous. I want guns like that internet dad guy's got. And when you make up your mind that that's how it is, I'm telling you, it's easy peasy, lemon breezy. I could have a busload of big-titted women come in here right now, offer me booze, and you know how tempted I'll be for any of it? Not even a little bit. Get the hell out of here, because all of that, the boobs and the booze, will get me off my path. I've been off my path for a long time, and I've finally gotten back on it, and I'm never getting off my path again, ever. Like ever. I'm surprised I never got alcohol poisoning. Well, if you ever barfed, you did. You just got lucky. You didn't get overly poisoned. Ashley, I've never tried alcohol, but I'm 23 and already have pre-diabetes because I eat so much sugar. It's so addicting. Absolutely. I'm glad you've never tried alcohol, but part of gluttony is the overconsumption. It doesn't even have to be alcohol. It could be, I guess, anything. Ashley, if I were you, I'd get addicted to making. I made a podcast 1 or 2 days ago. I forget what I called it, but the picture of the thumbnail is a charcuterie board. Is that what they say? And that's basically the 15 basic ingredients that I eat, 80% of which is all meat, egg, cheese, protein, and the other 20% is what I call vitamins, avocado, onion. If I were you, if you're going to get addicted, so if that's what you're going to call it, get addicted to eating meat and getting your heart rate up every single day, minimum 15 minutes. I have an admission today. I didn't go run today because of all the snow, and it was wet snow because it wasn't really cold, not cold enough to make it frozen. But I did make up for it by doing loads and loads and loads of push-ups, and that's why for an old fart like me, I've got this sexy man chest. AA is definitely not for everyone. I'm glad other people are. When I first started talking about this last time, like 2.5, 3 years ago, I mean, I got a lot of shit from people, like a lot of shit from people. Like, how dare you? How dare you talk any trash about AA? I'm like, I'm not talking trash. It's like, I don't know. It's just I found a better way. What is wrong with that? It's like I'm getting like my way is not nearly as popular as AA, but if it did become more popular than AA, would you shit on my? I'm just glad there's more people that realize I'm not trying to be a jerk about this. I'm really not. I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody else. I'm not. I'm broke. I mean, obviously, there's people way smarter than me that figured out how to get through this life without being, just. I mean, I'm not destitute, but I'm not where I want to be. There's nothing special about me. It's just I came up with it. I tried. I'm just telling you, if you want to try it, it works. You don't have to keep punishing yourself. I've seen your videos of someone would drink water from a frozen iceberg in Alaska or Iceland. My videos? I have, or have you seen? No. I've drank water out of the side of a mountain from Cloud Peak. I remember having to get up and change clothes during the night from those night sweats. Yep. Yeah, you've been there. Yeah. I would get so tired because you didn't sleep the night before and you're trying to go to sleep, but you keep jumping. And then you'd finally, like, after just sheer exhaustion, fall asleep. And I'd be jumping in my sleep, and then I'd be freezing to death, but I'd be hot at the same time. So I'd pull the covers on, and I'd be free, and then realize the bed's wet. So I'd get up, and I'd take my shirt off or something, and then the sheets would be wet, so I'd have to lay a towel down, and then fall asleep for another hour or two, wake up, the effing towel was wet. So by that point, you've slept for like 4 hours. So I couldn't exactly go back to sleep. And the sleep cycle got so messed up. Oh, it was awful. I never want to go back to that. I would drink from an ice hole. I've done it once when I lived in Seattle, frozen lake. I'm not following you. Yikes, if you had withdrawal symptoms, that must have been scary. From quitting booze? Yeah. Yeah. They call it the DTs. It stands for something. I forgot what it stands for, but it is real and it sucks. That is the hard part. But whether you're an AA or choose my way of doing it, that part doesn't change. The difference is in AA or my way, you got a week. When you quit cold turkey, you got 1 week of hell, of shitty, sucky hell. Your circadian sleep rhythm's off, your metabolism's off, everything's out of whack. But my theory on that, I guess, is the process of going through withdrawals is you were already out of whack. That is your body getting back into whack, like getting back to where it's supposed to be because you've been an alcoholic for years before. But yeah, it was bad. It's so bad. That's the part where I tell everybody there's no getting around it. If you really are an alcoholic and you do decide to quit and get yourself back on, just prepare. 1 week of pure shit, pure hell. It sucks. But after that, you can choose the AA way, which is fine if that's the way you want to do it. In my opinion, it's just a lot harder because you got to go to meetings all the time and talk to stranger about your problems and get up there and declare, "Hi, my name's Caleb and I'm an alcoholic." When you're obviously not because you don't drink. And then you got to struggle day to day. And I don't have to struggle day to day. It's real easy for me. All right, kiddies. We're an hour and 9 minutes in, and I think I'm going to call it a day. One of these, I am going to go to just 6 days a week, but I just wanted to put in a full week. I think this is the 5th or the 6th one. I may come on tomorrow, but I would imagine I am going to start taking off on Sundays. That may change. Maybe people would rather have me on Sundays, and maybe I'll take off Wednesdays. I don't know. Anyways, this link will be live here in about 20 or 30 minutes. If you got ideas, not getting people. I had 1 or 2 people get memberships, and one guy, gray squirrel or red squirrel, came on. If you want to get on here and chit chat, be interesting, but I forgot to mention this, but I've got the ticker down there. Get a membership, and you can make recommendations. You can click on it during live and come chat with me live. So anyways, I will see y'all mañana. If I decide not to go, it'll be in the post section. I'll let you know, try to let you know in advance in the post section on this channel. All right, y'all take care. Y'all been great. Bye.